Hey, good morning. It's David, Rise Utah Realty. I have a good one for you today, a good concept about real estate. I am walking here in Lehigh through a large community, fairly new. It's about 2 to 5 years old, and some of them way back there still building. But one of these concepts that's come about in the last few months is a concept called being house locked. I'm out here going through these townhomes, and I decided to get some exercise and work in. So I had some door hangers made, and the door hanger is talking about a free rental analysis to kind of expand our property management in this area. And I'm looking at these townhomes, and most people bought these townhomes at probably around a 2.5% to 3.5% interest rate. So their payment was, probably between $1,800 and $2,000 at the time. And the trouble is now, if the person were to buy this same townhome, you're looking at a payment of close to $3,000 or about $3,000. Interest rates. I talked to a lender, and they have buy downs, of course. Without a buy down, it's about 8%. Many of the builders, in particular, I know Edge Home is a local builder here that, instead of dropping their prices, they've incentivized people with 3% buy downs to get that payment lower. So that would help for sure. But the challenge still remains is that if you've been, the standard real estate over the last decade is if, you make more money, interest rates are staying low, and you could move up to the next house. But right now, that's kind of impossible because, before, like I said, you could basically buy this house now, and it's about $3,000. But before, you had your $1,800 payment. Now you're making more money, and now you can upgrade and go to an $850,000 to $900,000 house and enjoy that. And feel upwardly mobile. But right now, we're people are feeling locked in. So one of the concepts is, to build a real estate portfolio, you take your first house and you turn it into a rental, and maybe even your second or third before you have what I would call your permanent house, where that's the one you're gonna live in for a time. So these people, looking at around here, these home prices went down about 10% or so, and I've seen that they've stabilized and maybe even gone up in spite of the higher interest rates. And that honestly surprises the heck out of me, because who would have thought that payments could double and yet people would still afford these. Now, one of the biggest differences between the great financial crisis of 2008 and now is that people are actually buying these with real money. I mean, before I was in the loan business in one of the epicenters in California, working for a bank, World Savings and Loans, and I was an account executive with them for a number of years, and they thought they were being conservative in their underwriting. But when everyone else is being crazy in their underwriting, the whole market just blew up, because they would do, stated income, stated assets, no verification of much, and so people would easily leave these because they would also be 100%. So push comes to shove, you lose value in your property. Why would you want to hold on to it when there's nothing to hold on to? You don't have any money into it. But I can tell you that all of these homes, all of them, were bought with verifiable money, with people who had verifiable credit, and with some sort of down payment. There's been no 100%, unless there was some outside creative financing, but that's pretty few. And probably 5% of these or more were bought with cash as some sort of investment property. So here we are. Here's this community. And there are some people that are still moving. These are what we call the have to moves. Probably a third of the market before was optional. I know about the third of the market was investors, which ironically is about how much the volume of home sales has slowed down, where you only have a third of the market being investor. So now investors are a little shy right now to buy because the high payments on these don't make them justifiable. So, you know, as an investor, you put 25% down. That's about the rent right now. So that's not including any expenses or management fees. So you're kind of not doing very well. So they pulled out. So the best thing is for somebody who has the upward mobility, one of your biggest assets now is not just the house, it's that loan. The fact that you can keep a 2.5%, 3.5% interest rate on these houses, that's amazing, because I don't think they're going to come down again to that point. 2.5%, 3%. With that low of a payment, you don't want to sell your house to buy another house, because the trade-off is so much higher in terms of that interest rate. You want to keep this house, and you can cash flow on that difference now. So making a house like this into a rental, if you're going to be moving, is a smarter move, in my opinion, than selling it and taking the cash to buy, put more down on a second home. You know, of course, that's assuming you could afford either, but I think you would make more money, especially long term, because we all know that ups and downs in real estate, there is some commotion in the market right now. But the fact, and pay attention to this, the fact that home prices have stabilized and mortgage rates have more than doubled and home prices are stable, that's insane. I mean, really, it's incredible. Anytime you think you double prices, you would assume that the value would go down. But it shows that we're still short supply, that critical supply number. And back to economics 101, supply and demand will determine price. And right now we still have enough demand that even though things are slower, it's in a balance still that's keeping prices fairly steady right now. So that's my message for today. Kind of homes can get locked in, but the biggest assets can be that low interest rate mortgage, and you may want to keep that house and turn it into a rental. All right, we'll talk to you on the next time. Keep following me.